are attacking off the bounce should be in front of you. So anything that is here, I now have, my body is going forward versus going back. So, and then one big one that happens when the ball bounces really close to us and we back up is that the tendency is now we overcompensate by taking the paddle back. And I see that quite a bit, and then the ball tends to come up for the attacks, and then not only now you're off the line, but also because of that your ball is going up, and then it's much easier for them to counter, and that ball is more likely to go at your feet. So think about your positioning, where you are on the court, how, like if you have the opportunity to attack that ball, definitely go for it, but you have to make sure that you're in, like you're stable, you're balanced. And another big one is if the ball is here, but you're reaching away from you now, and now that's when you decide to attack. To me, that's a desperate attack. So those are completely different. These are offensive attacks off the bounce. So with the technique, they all should look the same. So if I'm dinking, and I'm demonstrating here with the forehand because we cover most of these with the forehand, and I can show the backhand as well. I tend to go two hands when I'm attacking with the backhand, but really focusing on keeping it nice and short. So if I go sideways, actually, okay, so again, I'm keeping, my hands are here and I'm dinking, okay, this is what my dink looks like. Now, when I am attacking, this is what my attack looks like. So again, and we talked about this, Eddie, when we were out on the courts, is that the tendency for most people is that when they do attack this ball, is that they go up, right? And then the ball goes up with it. So stay linear with the ball, linear with that net to keep that ball down. Focus on the paddle head speed versus actually using then your hips to go upward, or your head. We tend to go a little bit up with the head, thinking that that's how we're going to generate power. This is more important, the placement of this ball is much more important than actually the power that you hit. Of course, if the ball is higher, you can attack harder. But when the ball is lower, what you're trying to do is catch your opponent off guard. And most likely you may not finish the point right there and then with that shot. But if you get them, okay, they didn't see that coming, and you get them here, then the next ball is up, and then you can put it away. So mainly focusing. So if I'm going with topspin, I'm going to go from like the ball is below the net, so I'm gonna drop the paddle a little bit. And let me fix this a little bit. Okay, so I'm gonna drop the head of the paddle below the ball, and then when I come through, it's going to go fast through it. So I finish I finish here instead of coming down on it. So I'm not going to do this. I mean, if you do that, the ball will end up going downward. So with that, it's really focusing on getting down below. The lower the ball goes, the more you got to drop the head of the paddle below the ball. So then as you come through, you accelerate for that attack. Now the lob should look the same. As far as the take back, there is none, as you can see, but the big difference here is that I start as if I'm going to dink or I'm going to attack, and then what I'm going to do is actually open up the face and push it forward using my shoulder instead of going with my elbow, because that's the short lob, or the wrist, that is also a short lob. So focusing on extension with the shoulder. So all of these will require that extension with the shoulder. And then if you're going to dink away from their body, again, it should look the same. So none of these shots, your opponent should be like see it coming, because of the fact that you're kind of having them guess. The big thing is that when you do any of those, you have to expect also ball is going to come back, because you are doing a shot that not necessarily you're going to be able to get down to their feet, and you should be okay with that. You should be okay with the fact that you may not get that ball down to their feet, because physically, and again, physics of it is nearly impossible to do that when it is below the net, unless you're hitting a dink. And the reason, like when to choose one versus the other, to me, is when you get your opponent and do what you're doing, that's when you're in good shape. So if, let's say, you gave a lob, right? You hit a good lob, and they have to go back and fetch it. The next time that you kind of show as if you're going to do a lob, they may start to take a step back to already anticipate the lob. That's when a really good offensive dink to their feet, it will push them back behind the line, and now they have to come up with goods from behind the kitchen line. To me, if you see your opponent kind of not ready for an attack, and especially if they're sitting hard on one wing or the other, that's when you want to try to do that attack. You can do with the top spin. The slice, it looks a lot like, again, the paddle face opens up and it stays, it goes from on the forehand, it goes right to left, forward. So that's the difference. On the top spin, it goes low to high, and so forward. Again, we're not doing this. We're going forward. Where the slice, it starts on your side, it goes into your body, in front of your body, and then you carry forward, a push. And that is all about placement, right? The power sometimes is what people make the mistake. They try to hit it too hard, and a slice, realizing that the slice tends to go upward, the ball rises, where the top spin is when the ball is more of a sinker, it comes down. So with the backhand, what I tend to do, I like to do it with the two-hander. The two-hander, a lot of the guys are able to do that with the one hand, but to me it's much tougher. I don't have as much power, and I don't have as much control because my left arm is not really doing anything for me there. So when I do that attack, I tend to go the same way. It's low to high here, keeping that in the left arm on a two-handed backhand. One thing that is really taken for granted is the usage of the left arm. So if you're doing two hands, it's because you are going to take full usage of your left side. So keeping that arm here and taking it through, it's over. I think that's again the purpose of it. So I know I just covered a whole lot there, but I wanted to see if people had questions about